Welcome back. Today Dakota and I are going to be attempting our largest woodworking project to date, a built-in bookshelf, inspired by Dakota scrolling Instagram reels. Previously, our woodworking has consisted of prop building for Dakota's work. We built a movable tree, a couple of benches, and two oversized movable staircases painted with different scenes. In the planning stages, I used the Complete Book of Woodworking as a guide. We wanted a place to display some art, hold our books, a reading nook, and storage. I used a ruler to scale my drawings, where every inch in real life would be a 1/16 of an inch on paper. This helped me get accurate drawings and know exactly how many boards I would need, as well as what lengths I needed cut. We don't have a fancy workshop, so in place of that, we hung a tarp in the backyard to act as a makeshift working area to at least keep the sun off of us. Making the first 4 standalone bookshelves was pretty straightforward. 2 boards cut at 94 inches and 7 boards cut at 16 inches, with 5 of the 7 boards needing to have 4 pocket holes drilled into them. This task was by far the biggest time sink of the preparation and building of these first 4 shelves, because we had to make 80 individually drilled holes using a Kreg pocket hole jig. All of the cut pieces were then sanded, wiped down, and moved inside to adjust to the interior humidity. Assembling these was also pretty straightforward. I first had to remove some baseboards so the shelves would fit flush with the wall. I attached the bottom 2 boards first, then the top board, and made sure each shelf was square and level. Each pocket hole then had a pre-cut dowel glued into it so they could be cut and sanded flush with the rest of the shelf. Any holes were also filled with wood putty so the finished surface would be smooth. Once 2 shelves were assembled, they were attached to each other. I then measured the conjoined shelves and cut the shiplap panel to size. These panels were attached to the back with some 18 gauge 5/8 inch nails, making sure to secure the sides, middle, and where the shelves met the backing to give the front a nice flush finish. After the glue cured, the dowels that stuck up above the surface were flush cut with a handsaw. This ended up being very difficult with the space available, and I was obviously not very good at it as I continued to cut into the surface of the shelf. So I went to Home Depot and picked up a Ryobi multi-tool so I could more accurately and quickly flush cut these dowels. The center nook section also went together fairly easily. I measured the gap left by the two flanking shelves and found that it was only 1/8 of an inch wider from my original design. Pretty good for a first-timer. After I got all the horizontal boards attached, I went to glue up and slide in the two vertical boards. Turns out I had made a mistake. These cut, pocket hole, and sanded boards didn't fit. They were 1 inch oversized. I referenced my drawings and realized the error. I had not correctly measured out the size of the boards, but instead the placement of the horizontal boards. Back to the skill saw to fix a dumb mistake. Since these boards already had pocket holes drilled in them, I initially thought I could just go through the same hole. That didn't work, so both boards needed new holes closer to the center. Once they were cut, drilled, and sanded, it was time to actually secure them to the shelf. The first one slid in like a breeze. The second one would not go further than halfway. Back outside and back to the sander, twice, to finally secure the second board in place. I then filled the old pocket holes with putty and the new ones with dowels. The shiplap got cut and attached in the same way as the other two shelves. I measured and cut the hole for the electrical socket to come through the paneling and affix the socket in place. I still wanted to be able to utilize the socket even though it would eventually be hidden inside the reading nook. The entire structure then got a nice sanding so the pocket holes would be flush with the shelf and to ensure the first coat of paint goes on even. Then came the painting, which took 2 coats, nearly using a full gallon. In the future, I would definitely have done a coat of sealant first. In the next video, we'll be constructing the cabinet doors, trimming the face and ceiling, and doing the final coat of paint. Thanks for watching.